It was certainly a funky end to the 2024 regular season for the Washington Commanders, as they really had to fight in the second half to secure their 12th win of this historic regular season for the Burgundy and Gold. But they got the job done today, led by Marcus Mariota, with a final score of 23-19. Mariota threw 3 touchdowns in the second half after Jayden Daniels, and the offense had nothing going in the entire first half. Dan Quinn ended up sitting Jayden for the second half, and then Mariota came in and delivered multiple big-time clutch plays. And he was phenomenal. We're going to be breaking down this game here in just a second, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you updated with the latest injury updates and provide our wild card preview, whether it's the Rams or the Buccaneers this week. We know it's a road playoff game, and the Commanders are locked in at the 6th spot in the NFC playoff picture this year. It's going to be a fun one, and playoff football is back in Washington, so make sure you click that subscribe button, because if I have any inclination here, guys, I'm pretty sure you better get used to playoff football in the nation's capital. The first game ball goes to Marcus Mariota. No surprise there. He completed 15 of 18 passes, throwing 3 touchdowns. When he was in at quarterback, he was phenomenal, with an 83% completion percentage and 161 passing yards. He added even more than that on the ground, with some very clutch runs in this football game as well. He played better than Jayden Daniels today, and he deserves kudos for that. I'm not saying Jayden Daniels is worse than Marcus Mariota or anything like that, but Marcus really came in and saved the day. The offense was really struggling, and he came in and immediately sprung it back to life. It's not like the Cowboys' defense has been awful. They've been pretty good down the stretch with players like Micah Parsons, Darren Bland, and Jordan Lewis. But Mariota, time and time again, delivered the big throws when they needed to be delivered, and he deserves a massive amount of credit for that. The second game ball goes to Jonathan Allen. He made a remarkable comeback from a pectoral tear in Week 6 to get back in time for the playoffs. In fact, 2 games before the playoffs. He collected his first sack since coming back, and I'm so happy that Jonathan Allen is back. He's a key part of this football team, and he'll get to experience playoff football with a team that has a legitimate chance to win some playoff games this year. The third game ball goes to Mike Sainristil. He took his lumps today, but had a really good football game in my opinion. He was solid in coverage and made some big-time tackles in open space. Sainristil was drafted to be a nickel-type guy, kind of a slot specialist, but he's proven himself as an outside corner this year, stepping up for a team that has little depth in that position. Next week, Marshawn Lattimore will be back, and Sainristil can return to his more comfortable role as a number 2 outside corner. I'm excited to see how he performs in the postseason. The final game ball goes to Dan Quinn. In 1 year, he has managed to turn this team around from a terrible football team with bad offense and bad defense to a playoff contender. He should absolutely be considered for Coach of the Year. This team finished the season with 5 straight wins, overcoming some adversity after a tough skid earlier in the year. They've found a way to win a lot of close games, and that's what good football teams do. It starts at the top, and Dan Quinn has done a hell of a job, leading the team to the best record since 1991. That's 33 seasons. I want to know, let me know in the comment section, what's your one-word reaction to today's game? My one word has to be Mariota or clutch. Whatever you want, but it's definitely something revolving around Mariota. Let me know your one-word reaction in the comment section. Also, YouTube is going to throw an ad break in just a couple of seconds, so take advantage of that time and give me your one-word reaction to today's win. The first takeaway is that it was a disappointing day for Jayden Daniels. If Dan Quinn had decided not to play Jayden the entire game, we'd probably feel better about his postseason outlook. When Jayden was in, his accuracy wasn't great, and he relied too much on his legs. He only had 38 passing yards today, and almost had more rushing yards than passing yards. While he did make some nice plays, he also missed some easy ones. The offense just wasn't working in the first half. Then Mariota came in as his backup and showed him how it's done. I'm not too worried about Jayden. He's the Offensive Rookie of the Year and had a historic rookie campaign. But this was a disappointing end to what has been one of the best rookie seasons for a quarterback in a long time. On the flip side, Marcus Mariota was impressive. And I'm ready to say that after his performance against the Panthers earlier this year and today against the Cowboys, especially in the clutch, I think he's going to be a bridge quarterback for some NFL team next year. Whether it's the Jets, the Raiders, or another team, I think he'll be a Week 1 starter for an NFL franchise in 2025. His pocket presence, mental processing, accuracy, and poise under pressure were huge today. A team is going to see his veteran leadership and his ability to mentor a younger quarterback, and I think he'll end up as a starter next season, potentially with the Raiders. He's certainly earned it. I'm really impressed with him. Never miss a moment here on the Commander Report. We'll have a playoff watch party next week, along with extensive draft, trade, and free agency rumors every day during the offseason. Adam Peters will be making big moves, and the Commanders have a lot of cap space. It's going to be a very fun offseason for Washington Commander fans. Make sure you click that subscribe button now, as this team works towards building the next Super Bowl champion in the nation's capital. The third takeaway is that the run game is absolutely dead. There's no doubt about it. The offensive line needs a complete rebuild this offseason. Brian Robinson Jr. averaged only 2 yards per carry in this game, with just 10 yards on 5 carries. The run game couldn't get anything going. Austin Eckler was clearly the better player in the run game today. This is now 4 or 5 games in a row where Brian Robinson has been underwhelming. A lot of that is due to the offensive line, but Robinson hasn't been great either, especially when his backups are performing better. I want to see more of Chris Rodriguez Jr. in the playoffs, especially with Eckler back next week. The fourth takeaway is that the offensive line continues its downward spiral. This group needs multiple fixes in the offseason. I think Nick Elgery needs to be replaced. I'm okay with Badish and Cosby in the middle, but they need a new right tackle and possibly even an upgrade at left tackle with Brandon Coleman. There's definitely work to be done on this offensive line in the offseason. And because of that, I think this team will need to be very pass-heavy in the postseason to have success. The final takeaway is that this defense clearly needs Marshawn Lattimore back. Benjamin St-Juste had multiple poor plays in coverage, and getting Lattimore back is huge for this defense. He's expected to play next week, according to Dan Quinn. With Lattimore as the number 1 corner, Sam Still as the number 2 outside guy, and a hopefully healthy Quan Martin, the secondary should improve for the playoffs. Let me know in the comments section how confident you are in the Commanders for next week, on a scale of 0 to 100. How likely do you think it is that they win a playoff game on the road? I'm sitting at around a 40% or maybe 45% chance. I believe the Commanders have a chance to beat anyone in this league, especially if Jaden Daniels plays at a high level. Some final thoughts. Today was disappointing for the starting offense, especially for Jaden Daniels, but Marcus Mariota proved that even if Jaden gets hurt, he can come in and be a more than serviceable starter. He delivered in the clutch just like Daniels has this season. My big takeaway from this game, though, is Marcus Mariota. He made himself a pretty decent contract, and I think he'll be a bridge quarterback for a team drafting a young quarterback next year. Jaden needs to play better next week, but we'll see what happens. We're just waiting to see whether we play the Buccaneers or the Rams, and we'll have a preview for that game later this week on the Commander Report. We'll also have injury updates to get you ready for Wild Card Weekend, culminating in a Wild Card game watch party here on the Commander Report. So make sure you click that subscribe button to never miss a moment.